Hey guys, how's it going? I'm your host, Ray. Welcome back to the week of offline, which has already been officially extended to the month of offline. But I already had flyers and stuff made up, and I don't want to go back and, change that with a Sharpie, so just rock with it. Alright, so welcome back to my Street Fighter V tutorial series. Yesterday's subject was, of course, a little bit more into advanced execution, focusing specifically on anti-airs and technique throws. Today we're going to get into the neutral game, what I'm going to unfortunately title Footsie Fundies. And I'm already regretting that choice, but let's just rock with it. So, as usual, where we're going to start is with me rambling. If you thought I was going to go to training, well, I can do that at the same time too. Alright, so here we are. We're about to jump into training mode. As usual, I want you guys to select the grid. And this lesson most definitely requires the grid. It's going to make things easier because what we're going to be talking about is positioning and space and range. So let's hop in. The character I'm going to use, of course, is Nikali. However, I'm going to be going up against Ryu because I'm very, very, very familiar with Ryu's Footsie game. Now, when I talk about Footsies, what I mean, of course, is controlling space, controlling the neutral game, or what some people call the 50-50 game. So here we are. The match just started. We've got all this space in between us. We're at the mid-range, okay? So I don't want you to worry about fireballs, about using your specials, about jumps, nothing like that. All I want you to worry about is two things: dancing back and forth and hitting buttons. That's it. We want to simplify Footsies as much as possible. And what Footsies really is controlling that space in between you. Making sure you can do what you want, the opponent can't do what they want. Your plan is to execute what you want while preventing them from doing what they want. And that ultimately is how you gain control, gain the life lead, eventually close it out, and win the match. So let's get right into that. All right, so right now our goal is control. And in order to control the opponent, we have to know what our options are. So thankfully we're here in the grid where you can count all these boxes, and by spamming your attacks, figure out how far each of them go. This is just my standing light punch. I'm just spamming jab. It goes that many blocks away. And as you can see, I'm being very precise. All I want is a general rough idea in my head visually of how far away I need to be before I will actually hit them. Okay? So I want you to notice something right here. It looks like I should be making contact with his shoulder. Well, when I attack, my attack has a hitbox, and my opponent has a hurt box. And when the hitbox and the hurt box collide, that's when I do what it do, which is do the damage. So these things don't always visually line up. So it's probably in your best interest to try this with many different characters to see if they have a wonky hurt box or if you have a wonky hitbox. And don't forget, it also changes when you're jumping, it changes when you're crouching, and it changes when you're about to do a move as well, or if you're moving in and out. Okay, so your first exercise is to use all your buttons and get a general idea of how far your moves go, both standing and crouching, because that's what we really want to focus on. We don't want to focus on jump-ins right now. So as an example, I'm going to go from light to medium to heavy punch, then from light to medium to heavy kick. I'm going to make a note that my light punch goes farther than my light kick, my medium punch goes farther than my medium kick, my heavy kick goes farther than my heavy punch. And it's partly reversed when I'm crouching. My light punch doesn't go as far as my light kick. My medium punch doesn't go as far as my medium kick. And crouching heavy punch and crouching heavy kick are the same as standing. My heavy kick goes slightly farther. So just have a pretty good rough idea of how far each of those attacks go. And then actually walk up to your opponent and try and figure out what the max distance is on each side that you can be, where you can still hit them and do damage. All right, so the second component of footsies you've already been practicing, and that's movement. So I want you to get used to holding or pressing your joystick or your pad back and forth for different lengths of time. Sometimes you're advancing, sometimes you're retreating, sometimes you're not doing anything at all. Sometimes you're dashing, you're back dashing, whatever. I want you to stay mainly grounded as much as possible. If you're dashing a lot, it means you can't attack. Okay? Now you can escape or you can get in real quick, but I want you to focus on footsies, so let's just walk back and forth and make sure that we're coming in and out of attack range, okay? Okay, so now we've got a general idea of what your character can do. Let's get a pretty good idea of what that character can do, okay? So in order to do that, we're going to go into dummy settings. We're going to set them to playback record, and as usual, I've already used all this stuff. So button input, 0 on the interval setting, go to recording slot 1, and then think about what you want to do. So in this case, I just want to see what's actually going to happen. So I'm going to throw a light punch, doesn't go far. Medium punch goes farther. Heavy punch goes farther. Light kick, that goes farther than light punch. Medium kick, that definitely goes farther than anything else we've seen so far. And then there's heavy kick, which goes farther than all that. And then you're gonna do the same, and you're gonna figure out what your best options are while you're crouching. Alright, so we've got a super rudimentary idea of what Ryu can do. I'm gonna tell you right now, some of his best weapons for footsies are his crouching medium kick, his standing medium kick, and his standing medium punch. And guess what? His crouching medium punch is pretty good too. And I also like his crouching light kick. But for now, we want to focus on picking a slot and starting the recording process. So what I want you to do is pick a neutral action or a starting action. And in Ryu's case, I'm going to use 2 light punches. You know, I'm just going to mash them super quick. After those come out, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to walk them back and forth for a bit. I'm only going to focus on low attack, so I'm only going to throw out that crouching medium kick and that crouching light kick. All right, so we're walking back and forth. We're dropping that out. We're going to continue, and then we don't want to go past maybe 10 to 15 seconds. I want to make sure that there's a full second or so of activity once we're done. So I'm going to stop recording, reset everything back to 0. I'm going to go to my action playback setting. I'm going to turn on that recording slot, and then I'm going to let it go. He's walking in and out. He's walking up. He's dropping into a crouch. He's in and out of range. Okay. All right, guys. So here we are in recording slot number 2, and right now we're only going to focus on standing attacks. So I'm going to start with my 2 light punches. Then I'm going to go into standing medium punch, standing medium kick, and maybe standing light kick. Now, what I want you to realize is that Ryu's overhead is forward plus medium punch. You have to make sure you're not holding forward while you're hitting medium punch, or you're going to get a move that you don't want. So either completely let go of the stick and then hit medium punch, or in order to get a little bit faster timing until you learn to be really precise with your execution, start holding back as soon as you hit medium punch. But don't hold it so long that you actually start walking back afterwards. It'll prevent you from hitting with his overhead, which is his collarbone breaker, and it will still give you a clean input. So let's go ahead. 2 light punches. You're going to walk in and out of range. Medium kick, medium kick, medium punch, medium punch, medium kick, medium punch, medium punch. And then we're going to the 15-second mark. And then that's it. All right, guys. So for now, we're going to be focusing on what should be the last action for this drill setup. We're going to do 2 light punches, and then we're going to get into it with standing and crouching attacks. We want to make sure that when we're standing, we're not holding forward with that medium punch so we don't get that collarbone breaker. Otherwise, anything's pretty much fair game. Stick to the pokes that we've been using. Starting off with our light punch, walk back and forth, and range. going to go for about the 15 seconds. And then we're going to stop. So guys, before we get into the rules, I want to include a little bit of a bonus. And it's sort of a very simple, cheesy mix-up that sometimes just gets people. So we're going to go in. We're going to go to recording settings. We're going to go into slot 4. We're going to prepare ourselves. Of course, we're going to start with the 2 light punches, but then we're going to go in. I'm going to get a low poke in. I'm going to do an overhead. You'll see why momentarily. We're going to get a low poke, overhead, and then we're going to go for a sweep, and that's it. That's all there is to it. Alright, so Ryu's going to walk up. He's going to hit me with a crouching medium kick. I have to block low. It's the only way to block low attacks. After that, he's going to hit me with an overhead. Now, if I'm already blocking low, I'm most likely going to continue blocking low, and an overhead beats blocking low. So now he's doing damage to me, so my first inclination is going to be, okay, I need to stand up, I need to continue blocking to prevent myself from taking any damage. However, he's already got a sweep queued up. So I'm going to show you how that typically plays out. The playback settings are going to turn on 4. Blocking that, eat the overhead, and then I try to block standing, then I eat a sweep. And it's the same thing here. Like I said, that was just a bonus. It's up to you if you actually want to use it. It's a nice little mix-up to learn, so you can start actually differentiating between when you have to go high and low a little bit faster. Alright, so we've got our 3 recording slots set up. Now I want to engage in some actual footsies. So let's go over the rules real quick. I want you to hit options. I want to go into gauge settings. I want to make sure his health and my health are set to normal. Second off, once we start, I want to make sure that I'm not jumping. I'm not using specials. The only thing I'm using are my movement, which is my shimmy and my shuffle back and forth, and my regular buttons, crouching or standing, whichever works best. So let's go ahead and get into this. First one to KO, the other guy wins a good one. Okay, second one, 2's up, he's got the life lead. Eat him up alive. Alright guys, so that was our super basic low-level overview of what footsies are. And that was a simple drill to help you get better. I want you to remember what tools you have available to you. I want you to get used to not jumping all the time. I want you to use that joystick movement, come in and out, just get in and out of their range, cause them to whiff, punish that whiff, and of course, hopefully you know which buttons to use because you've been practicing with your buttons. Making sure you've got your ranges and your speeds down so that you can more effectively control space. So I want you to continue practicing this because you need to be able to engage in footsies under duress. That is, with someone else on the other side of the screen trying to pound away on you. So make sure you're setting up your dummies with different patterns. Put on a sticky note so you don't see which slot you're actually about to start playing. Use more slots, randomize it, do whatever you have to. You can make it harder, you can make it easier. The most important part thing is that you do it and you get used to seeing how far your attacks go, how fast they go out, so you can actually start getting better at speaking the language behind the game. So, I'm Ray. Thanks for being here with me during the week/month of offline. Deuces.